Hello and welcome to episode 1 of the College Ready Ohio podcast. I'm Ben Scragg.
And I'm Scott Sheeler.
And we are College Ready Ohio educational technologists who are supporting our 10 school districts and Catalyst teachers, administrators, and friends all across Ohio on College Ready Ohio. In this first episode, we're going to take you to lovely Springfield, Ohio, to the Global Impact STEM Academy and explore the Expo Night that Global Impact put on earlier this spring.
Yeah, it's a really cool night where students, or some of their freshmen and sophomores, they essentially work with teachers of various subject areas, and there's a theme, and they kind of just displayed their knowledge together across disciplines and across the school, I guess, as well. We really like the idea. You know, it's a cool idea of the students having more than just the two eyes of the teacher to see their work, and maybe making meaningful work that could even change their community.
And as part of College Ready Ohio in the spring of 2015, some folks associated with College Ready Ohio, including Josh Jennings, the director of Global Impact, we took a trip to High Tech High in San Diego and kind of started to look at some of what they were doing, and the idea of an expo night or a presentation night was one of the really interesting things that they were doing. And I haven't talked to Josh about whether explicitly that kind of sparked an interest for him, but it turns out that Chris McNutt, who's one of the Catalyst teachers for College Ready Ohio, who is at Global Impact, also took a trip out there and was similarly inspired. And so you'll hear a little bit from Chris here in just a second. But again, one of the things that I think is interesting about not just Global Impact as a school, but the kind of things that they're up to and the kind of things we see a lot of our partner schools up to in College Ready Ohio is, finding inspiration and then making it their own for their context and incorporating bits and pieces. And so I think you'll hear Chris talk a little bit about that evolution and maybe even some of the future plans. So Scott, set us up. What are we about to hear here?
Yeah, so we're going to hear, we're going to take you back to the Expo Night this last spring. And we sat down with one of the Catalyst teachers there, Chris McNutt, as well as two students, Alex and Zoe. Yeah, and they'll talk about their projects and just kind of give us an idea of what is going on at their school.
So here is College Ready Ohio Catalyst teacher Chris McNutt of Global Impact STEM Academy and GISA students Alex and Zoe on presentation night.
Global Impact STEM Academy, it's an early college high school with kind of like a PBL twist. So 9th and 10th grade, they have all their high school classes. They're getting through their entire 4 years of curriculum, one semester at a time. So they're all in block schedules. They have one of each of the core subject area classes. So we decided last semester, so in the winter, hey, let's just have like a little more like that stuff where we invite the community in, see what's going on, be very transparent about our work, and also kind of add that authenticity to the students' projects so it's not just like leave it in the classroom. Instead, you actually get to talk to others and see that you actually are learning something and we're real.
My project was Project Bubbles. We called it Project Bubbles because we hope to get a Coke Freestyle machine in replace of one or more of the vending machines that we have that we sell drinks out of now. The goal of that is to help reduce the plastic bottle waste.
We decided when we launched this we were going to do themes. So the theme of this one is sustainability.
So starting this semester, I wanted to do a project based on getting rid of the styrofoam trays. That was the main goal. I wanted to do that because that causes a lot of waste.
Our school is heavily focused around the idea of remediation, which is the idea that basically failing is learning. In order to succeed in life, you have to fail at one point in your life. You have to be able to learn from that experience.
I was trying to get hard plastic trays. Sadly, we did not have any room in the new kitchen.
I'd say that one thing I really benefited from this is kind of working with real people, real businesses to try to make a project of your own.
In terms of the learning aspects, Obviously, we focus a lot more on skills through our projects than we do through content.
We have a lot of project-based learning here, group work, which is really, really important at any job you do.
Because we're creating these mindsets that they can accomplish what they put their mind to, and we're, instead of just doing paperwork and turning it in, we're actually learning how to do the stuff.
So basically the goal was to go beyond just a typical research paper. So like one thing I've kind of learned is students take their work a lot more seriously if they know it's going to be, first off, on display, but two, more than just like a bunch of sheets of paper.
You have the opportunity to just think so much more out of the box, and when you do, you're celebrated for it. It's really cool.
And because we allow our students so much freedom and so much expression through their work, they finally for once get to be a person.
You may have your doubts about it, but then when you show it to these people and they're just so impressed by it and they actually want to listen to what you have to say by it, it makes you feel like an adult and you're just like, oh, thank you. Like, I did put hard work into this. Thank you for noticing.
So that's Catalyst teacher Chris McNutt and Global Impact students Alex and Zoe on their projects. And Scott, I think it's so cool to hear, and maybe just a little bit, maybe a little startling to hear kind of the final reflection of, students feeling like they're treated like people, or as we heard Zoe say, I feel like I'm treated like an adult.
Right.
And it just reminds me the extent to which, there are times when that doesn't feel like the norm, and it goes back to, I think, some reflection from what Alan November said to us way back in the fall of 2015 as well. Just kind of this idea that we want students to be adults, right? We want them to grow into capable adults, but it's so rare that we give them the opportunity to actually make decisions or actually go figure things out from a state of unknown. So you hear a student saying, hey, we wanted to eliminate, styrofoam, we wanted to eliminate the trays. Here are all these projects we wanted to do, save, on a Coke machine. Or you saw, one of the projects that I saw were students testing which version of cooking beans would take the most protein out of the beans, and just like all these kind of really complex experiments. And you just think, wow, this is a place where students are really being asked to think outside the box and do projects that require them to take on the decision making, the responsibility, and owning either the success or failure, in the way adults do.
Yeah, it's definitely authentic. It gives them an actual task that they're doing versus just studying a book. I mean, that has to come as well, but it's usually that learning is done because they're actually trying to actively change something or find something out and explore something themselves. And yeah, I think it's a really cool idea. I would love to see more schools do this sort of Expo Night. The first thing that would have to happen, I feel like, for more schools to do this is I feel like more of their assessments would have to change, right? Schools couldn't just come in and say, hey, come look at these standardized tests. That's not a very compelling Expo Night. And so I think kind of having some of their assessments change to be something that's more like what they're doing, I think could be really cool.
Yeah, it makes me think about the idea of, I've spent a lot of time in the last, year or so really looking at design and design thinking, and this idea of working cyclically at something and kind of prototyping and producing and being in this place of embracing formative assessments on the way to delivery at something like this kind of night. So this is, I think, maybe a good place, just in episode one, a good place to kind of cap this reflection. I would like to share with anyone who's out there in the interwebs listening to us a little bit about kind of what we're putting together and why this podcast came about, just as a thing that popped up. I think we're just using GarageBand to record the audio and insert the audio clips, and we're just hooked up to a USB mic in a room here on campus talking. And Scott, can you talk a little bit about the sound and just kind of the overall construction of this podcast?
Yeah, we're not doing anything too fancy, as Ben just said. We're just trying to show what could happen in your schools or in your classrooms as another way to get information across, or to share knowledge, or to do an audio style documentary, like that's what a podcast generally is. This music that we're using for our bumpers from bensound.com, which is a great place that you can send students and yourself to go for music that is copyright free. You just have to give them credit, which is really nice, and it's not bad music. It sounds actually pretty good. So
some other Ben out there has beat me to my $1 million idea, and they're giving it away for free.
Right.
So, cool. Well, thanks for listening with us. We hope that your summers are going well. If you happen to listen to this in the summer of 2017, we put it out. If you're listening from the future, I hope that the robots have not all taken over. But if they have, that's a topic for next episode. Join us next time. We'll see you soon.
see you.